Shannon Sharpe, Skip Bayless. Wow, talk about career pathways going in opposite directions for both guys. Skippy and Shay Shay have now been divorced for over a year, as they used to be co-hosts with each other on Undisputed. This is Sports Guy Talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about Shannon Sharpe speaking up on his breakup with Skip Bayless and Undisputed. According to Shannon Sharpe in a recent interview, he was beyond devastated by the split up of Skip Bayless last summer. However, it is clear that Shannon Sharpe has been better off without Skip Bayless and Undisputed, as he is clearly a bigger influence in the sports media world on his own. Before I say anything else though, I want to present you guys with a topic question. So here it is. What is your reaction to Shannon Sharpe owning Skip Bayless and Undisputed? Honestly, I'm going to say that it is good for Shannon Sharpe. I feel good that Shannon Sharpe owns Skip Bayless. And this is coming from a guy that rooted for Skip Bayless in the divorce of Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. I really thought Skip Bayless would be better than where he is at right now, but it is pretty clear that Skip Bayless needs to head into retirement because his best days are behind him. You look at ratings for Undisputed now, they can't even crack 80,000 viewers these days. Most of the time, if they get to 70,000 viewers, that's considered a good day for Undisputed. That's how far Skip Bayless has fallen off of mainstream relevancy. You look at how his show absolutely sucks now with Keyshawn Johnson, Michael Irvin, Rachel Nichols, Paul Pierce. It doesn't even really matter who's across from Skip Bayless. Either way, it's just not good whatsoever. It is a terrible product to put on the television screen. And at $8 million per year, I think it would be best if Fox Sports executives go ahead and cut Skip Bayless from their network. Just get him out of the rotation entirely and cut all ties with him. It's time to tell Skip Bayless to retire. It's been a good run for you, Skip, but it's pretty clear that you cannot generate interest the way that other guys on FS1 are. And before anybody says, oh, most people are not really using TVs anymore, that's why ratings are down Undisputed, that's just simply not true. Because if that was the truth, then how come Colin Cowherd's show is increasing? How come First Things First is doing really good in terms of television ratings? How come all the other shows are doing really well in terms of TV ratings relative to Undisputed? Look, we get on Pat McAfee because he can only attract 250,000 viewers at $17 million per year. But Pat McAfee right now, compared to Skip Bayless, looks like an excellent show compared to Undisputed. And that is a problem in and of itself, because you look at the Pat McAfee show, that show can barely even draw 250,000 viewers. That's not even that good of a number for the money Pat McAfee is getting paid. But when you compare that to Undisputed, holy cow, Undisputed wishes they could get that kind of number. Undisputed can't even get 80,000 viewers on their television networks anymore. And it's pretty clear that that show needed Shannon Sharpe quite badly. Without Shannon Sharpe, the show is absolute trash. Back when Shannon Sharpe was on Undisputed, the show was mediocre at best in terms of television ratings. They were failing to crack 150,000 viewers, and we used to roast Undisputed for only being able to draw that number. Looking back at that though, they wish they could draw that kind of number, because Undisputed cannot even draw half of that audience on most days. On some days, they don't even get 50,000 viewers, and that is a shame in and of itself for Skip Bayless. I'm here to pile on Skip Bayless' divorce. Obviously, you look at how he has not done well ever since Shannon Sharpe left him in the summer of 2023. Yes, I know that Shannon Sharpe was technically fired from Fox Sports, but more or less this was Skip Bayless' call, because we all know that Fox Sports executives love to listen to Skip Bayless' advice. That's why I can no longer show visual clips of Undisputed to y'all. It's because of the fact that they're trying to censor people like myself from exposing the fraudulence that is called Skip Bayless. You look at how I've been trashing Skip Bayless for a year now on the channel, and now Fox Sports executives have caught on to that, and they seem to be concerned with silencing my takes on Skip Bayless instead of focusing on how to get rid of Skip Bayless at all costs. Obviously, they should have fired Skip Bayless and kept Shannon Sharpe on Undisputed, because it's pretty clear that Shannon Sharpe was carrying the show. And then you look at the fact how Shannon Sharpe's been on First Take, and not only has he been able to do well on First Take, he's been able to generate massive ratings on First Take. You look at how First Take can even draw 800,000 viewers on days Shannon Sharpe is appearing. That is basically 10 times the audience that Undisputed is generating. It's pretty clear that Shannon Sharpe is a mainstream media star. At this point, Shannon Sharpe has become the face of ESPN. That's how good Shannon Sharpe has been on First Take. In fact, Shannon Sharpe has done so well on ESPN that it might cost Stephen A. Smith his job during his next round of contract negotiations. As you guys all know, I am fully expecting Stephen A. Smith to ask for $20 million in his next contract negotiation talks. Obviously, if you're ESPN, you don't give Stephen A. Smith $20 million a year in order to stay at ESPN. You go ahead and tell Stephen A. Smith to kick rocks, and you're wondering, how do they replace Stephen A. Smith on First Take? That's easy. Replace Stephen A. Smith with Shannon Sharpe as the face of First Take. Offer Shannon Sharpe a bag. Obviously, Shannon Sharpe is not going to ask for $20 million a year. He's under no leverage to do so, and you could literally get better production out of First Take for half the cost if you offer Shannon Sharpe something like $10 million a year. Obviously, you look at how Stephen A. Smith has a huge ego in and of itself. He believes that he is the greatest thing ever since sliced bread in the sports media world, and that's why he's going to ask for ridiculous money. Obviously, if you're ESPN, you go ahead and let Stephen A. Smith walk, let that contract expire, let him go independent on his own, and let's see what happens with Stephen A. Smith. But let's look at Shannon Sharpe, man. I'm really proud of what Shannon Sharpe has said, and for him to speak up about the divorce between him and Skip Bayless, I gotta give Shannon Sharpe a lot of props, because I know that it probably wasn't easy for him to speak up like this in a public setting. Obviously, he talked professionally about Skip Bayless. He didn't necessarily directly badmouth him, but he basically just noted what happened ever since the breakup between him and Skip Bayless. It's pretty clear that Shannon Sharpe has owned Skip Bayless. I want to show you guys this first clip. I got two clips to show you guys. It's from the Black Money Tree. Apparently, he showed up as a guest on their podcast, and he had a lot to say about the divorce between him and Skip Bayless. He also had to talk about what he went through on Undisputed. Roll the film.
I'd be lying if I told you I thought I would be where I am right now at this point in time. Did I think it was possible? Yes, but I thought it was going to take me a lot longer than what it actually took me. It's tough. See, people like, well, Shannon, why did you get so emotional? Because if you knew what I put into that job, you would understand it. Yeah, you see, the greater the expectation, the greater the hurt when it doesn't work out. Yeah. And I poured so much into that. I gave up everything. I lost relationships because I couldn't go out to dinner. I couldn't go to vacation. I couldn't go to, because I have to watch all the sporting events, because I got to be able to talk about them on television and talk about them expertly. So it cost me a lot.
That's the first clip that I have to show you guys. Obviously, Shannon Sharpe made a lot of good points when talking about his career on Undisputed and what he was going through. When you host a sports show or when you make content on a daily basis, yeah, you're going to have to make a lot of sacrifices. You're not going to be able to go out on a lot of dinner dates with ladies because you're going to be busy prepping up for your show the next day. And obviously, you can't go on a bunch of vacation trips, because if you go on a bunch of vacation trips and travel around the world, guess what? You're going to miss out on an opportunity to produce content in the sports world. That's the sacrifice you have to make. I can personally speak to this as a YouTuber. I make YouTube videos all the time, but if I'm out for a week, you guys are going to ask, oh, where's Sports Guy Talking at? How come he hasn't produced lately? Man, I need Sports Guy Talking back. So that's just the kind of pressure that requires the job in order to be successful. And obviously, when you're pouring in the amount of hours and the amount of time that Shannon Sharpe was putting onto Undisputed and the show was not succeeding the way that it was, yeah, it's definitely got to hurt him a lot, because it's like, why am I wasting my time waking up every day at 6:30 a.m. Pacific time to do a show that's not even generating 150,000 viewers? So obviously, Shannon Sharpe looks like he majorly upgraded in his life. In reality, getting Shannon Sharpe fired from Undisputed was probably the best thing that could have happened to Shannon Sharpe's media career. Shannon Sharpe is now far better off without being with Skip Bayless and Undisputed. Obviously, Undisputed is a sinking ship. It is going to be shut down sooner rather than later. I also have a second clip that I would love to show you guys with Shannon Sharpe on the Black Money Tree podcast. He also talked about where he was at today and how he was able to succeed after Undisputed. Roll the film.
I believe I could be where I am today, but I just thought it was going to take me a couple of years. But to say that it didn't hurt to leave, because it did, because of what I put into that. Yeah. And that's why it hurt. See, the greater the expectation, the greater the hurt that comes along when it doesn't work out. That's why parents get upset when your kid doesn't fulfill what you have expected of them. Yeah. It hurts you more. It hurt me to lose because I had put so much into that job. And so now I look at it and say, now I'm no longer talent. You can't fire me from Shay Shay Media because I own it. Yeah, yeah. You can't fire me from Nightcap. You can't fire me from Club Shay Shay. I own it. And so that's the way I look at my business now. You're going to be my partner. You're no longer just going to cut me a check to do something.
There you go, Shannon. Good for you. Good for you for realizing your own worth and your own value. Obviously, Fox Sports was absolutely idiotic to get rid of Shannon Sharpe, and myself included. I thought they made the right decision at the time. That was a mistake on my part. Obviously, Shannon Sharpe should have been more promoted in FS1 because he should have been the face of their network if they promoted him the right way, but they didn't do that because they were too busy being stuck in their old ways. Obviously, you look at how the new media is there, and Shannon Sharpe is the face of new media. It's going to be there to stay, and it's going to be for the better. You look at the podcasting world, it's increasing more than ever. You look at how digital media, more people are relying on that, and obviously more people are going to listen to YouTubers rather than mainstream talkers because the mainstream talkers are not going to be authentic when talking. And what do viewers love to see? Authenticity. You want to know why people subscribe to my channel and why people continue to come back and watch my videos all the time? It's because of authenticity. That's something that other networks don't really provide. When you listen to ESPN, when you listen to Fox Sports, when you listen to all these mainstream channels on the TV screen, it just sounds like a bunch of repetitive talk that was fed from producers, and they just basically come out there and come out as paid actors. But when you listen to YouTubers and podcasters talk, it's coming out of their own mouth. It's coming out of their own authenticity, and it's coming out of what they really believe in. And at the end of the day, Shannon Sharpe realized his own worth, which good for him. You look at how Shannon Sharpe has now become the face of sports media, and obviously Shannon Sharpe has become incredibly successful without Undisputed. It's pretty clear that Skip Bayless and Undisputed made a huge mistake getting rid of Shannon Sharpe. I bet you right now they would probably pay up $20 million a year just to get Shannon Sharpe back on Undisputed for one appearance. That's how desperate their show is. Obviously, they're not going to offer that because that ship has sailed, but it's pretty clear that Shannon Sharpe succeeded after his divorce, while Skip Bayless and Undisputed absolutely failed after their divorce. I don't even really know how there's even any other way to say it. It's the fact of the matter. And obviously, you look at how Skip Bayless, he's going to be headed off to retirement sooner rather than later. And as for Shannon Sharpe, he's only going to get better in the sports media world. He's going to become the face of it sooner rather than later if he isn't already the face of sports media. I honestly think that Shannon Sharpe would be a better candidate to be the face of sports media rather than Stephen A. Smith, because Shannon Sharpe is actually pretty knowledgeable about sports, unlike Stephen A. Smith, who is a guy who just screams into the microphone and tells lies to people. He's a pathological liar. Remember in the book where he talked about hitting 17 straight threes in a high school scrimmage? Yeah, right. I highly doubt that ever happened whatsoever. And as for Shannon Sharpe, he's actually a football Hall of Famer. Yes, a legitimate pro football Hall of Famer, not something that he made up in a book. And you look at how Shannon Sharpe is funny, he's comedic, he's relatable to people, and that's why people go ahead and listen to Shannon Sharpe. That's how he's been able to build such a wide audience after getting fired from Undisputed. So that is why I am proud of Shannon Sharpe for owning Skip Bayless and Undisputed, as Shannon Sharpe was clearly underpromoted by Fox Sports executives when he was a sports talker on their network. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking, like the video, and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That'll be for the @Dustin Tran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @Dustin Tran and that Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @Dustin Tran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel, Sports Guy Talking.